So, hi everyone, and welcome to another video of the Talking About Testing channel here on YouTube. My name is Valmir, and today I'm here with Ramona. And I'm glad that Ramona accepted the invitation to talk with us a little bit about Cypress IO and her experiences as a developer and also as a Cypress ambassador. So, thanks again, Ramona, for coming here and spending a little bit of your time with us. So could you introduce yourself, please?
Sure. First, thank you so much for having me as well. I'm so glad to talk to you and talk to all of you out there. So, hello. My name is Ramona. I'm from Germany and I'm working at Shopware AG, which is an open source e-commerce platform provider. I'm working there as a front-end developer at the moment, but I have 5 years of experience in quality assurance, which is sometimes quite cool to have both views, like thinking like a tester or thinking like a developer. So, well, I'm a Cypress ambassador for about a year now. So we have a little bit of a birthday, if you want to call it like that. Um, and what can I say? I love being at conferences, giving talks, going, and most recently, organizing meetups. So yeah, that's the thing I really love about being an ambassador.
That is awesome. That is a nice story. I found it very interesting the fact that you worked as a quality assurance engineer or quality engineer in the past, and now you are a front-end developer. Like I
Yeah,
imagine that being a developer with all the mindset that a quality assurance already has, you probably want to write things without writing tests, without having the confidence that the things that you are developing are somehow covered with at least a few tests to give you you know the the safety of delivering code, right?
that's right. And even more, I think that developer and testing experience at the same time is a really important topic so that testers and developers don't hate each other. You might know such a little feud
Yeah.
or something. And so it's a hard topic, if I can say it like that, for me to spread the love, connecting those two sides and to have a good after all experience, as I want to call it.
Yeah, for sure. All of the people involved are in like trying to deliver one product with the same goal, right?
Right, right.
So, Ramona, could you tell us when did you discover Cypress and what was your first impression when you used Cypress for the first time, please?
That's actually quite interesting story because it's to a certain extent community driven. My journey started with Cyprus in 2018 when I
Mhm.
visited an unconference, which is a conference where you can choose the topics, the talks you want to hear as an audience. And I proposed a wish to hear something about automated testing as I struggled with it in this time.
Mhm.
And well, two speakers said that they want to hold a talk, and at the next day, both of them were gone. And I was like, oh my God, what should I do? I wasn't ready to present at that time. So I kind of found it like an emergency group, like, hey, I'm Ramona and I have problems with testing. I know. I hope you know what I mean. And
Yeah,
there
yeah.
was a guy who introduced me to Cypress as I had lots of problems with long running tests and especially flakiness.
Mhm.
And yeah, so my first impression was that it's a help for me to tackle those topics. And yeah, it would counter lots of problems I had with my previous test framework. So I played around with that, did a little side project on Cypress testing with a shopware online top. So some people got some attention of it. And yeah, then a hackathon happened at Shopware. As we are an open source company, we have some community events, and there were some people saw my side project, and so we did some cool hackathon project. And with that project, I was able to pitch Cypress for my company. And well, now I took all of them to like Cypress.
I think it's nice because you mentioned like that the two worlds have to be very well connected, like testing and development. And I think Cypress is really a tool that allows developers to write applications and writing tests and having a nice experience
Right.
uh, and it solves the problems that you were having when using different tools, right?
That's right. Even designers love to see our Cypress tests as they can visually see tests running.
Yeah, yeah. I worked with designers who were super interested in things like visual regression testing because
Oh, yes.
usually you just see like the desktop view or only one viewport in mobile. But with visual regression testing, you can make lots of combinations, run one test once, and render it in different viewports and things like that. And actually, designers might find issues that they wouldn't find easily if they had to test manually in different devices and things like that. I find it very interesting.
Yes.
Ramona, tell us a little bit, since you are a Cypress ambassador, what is it like to be a Cypress ambassador?
Well, when I can sum it up like that, it's a wonderful feeling of support you get by fellow ambassadors or the Cypress teams. We have a Slack channel where we can communicate and even have some little chats on problems or anything test related. And yeah, when it comes to extending that to meetups, well, actually, some of our ambassadors are hosting some. I was visiting lots of them last year, and with the support of ambassadors, I was able to find the confidence to co-host one meetup. So it's it's a
That's
wonderful feeling
awesome.
of community when I can say it like that.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy to be part of this community now. I was able to connect with yourself. I could, of course, via any other like a LinkedIn or something like that. But I find it very nice to have access to other ambassadors and also to the team developing Cypress and knowing some of the things that might come to their roadmap and things like that. It's very interesting for sure.
Yeah.
So could you tell us about a recent project where you used Cypress and you were able to do something that wouldn't be so easy to achieve if you were using a different testing tool?
Well, when I think about my daily business at Shopware, I think about three parts which help me a lot. At
Hmm.
first, and that's my most important feature after all, is the test runner because it helps me with debugging such a big extent. Not only by just seeing what's happening inside of my test. I came from a Selenium background while using the tool Behead and Mink. It was PHP based, and afterwards using Nightwatch, which moved from Selenium to WebDriver, I guess. But
Hmm.
with all of those tools, I wasn't able to debug so easily because I just had some logs, and if I'm lucky, I had some screenshots, and that was quite painful if I'm allowed to be that honest. And
Hmm.
so the test runner, all those inspection possibilities, the time travel, which means that you get these snapshots, which makes it possible to step back to all the steps your test did, helped me a lot. Together
Yeah,
with the possibility to inspect the dev tools, all the logs, all the console outputs, and network requests.
yeah. Debugging is awesome with Cypress. That's for sure.
Yeah,
And
another. Oh, sorry, I don't want to
no, 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 no.
interrupt you.
Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
The second one is the possibility to have all the tools you need by Cypress. As working with Nightwatch, you need Nightwatch, of course, the Chrome WebDriver, and Chrome. And if, let's imagine, Chrome jumps ahead with that update,
Yeah,
Nightwatch or WebDriver wasn't compatible with that, which caused me a lot of pain with
yeah,
my pipeline. So this is the point. And the last being the assertions on network requests and the possibility to stop requests when working with third-party libraries or integrations.
yeah. I think especially like for a front end developer, this is awesome, right? You can even I imagine you can even develop a whole front end without having a backend accessible to you because you can stub all the requests. That is impressive for sure. And at the company that you work at the moment, are you the only person doing Cypress testing, or is I mean together with the development of the features, or are other developers also using Cypress?
Well, all testers and all developers are using Cypress together. The developers will write their tests at a component or at the end-to-end level when they implement their new features. and the testers at the quality assurance will help them find the right test cases and even write own test cases if there's something missing or if they have some regressions they notice coming back lots of times. So we were able to define quality as a priority for everyone. It's like a team mindset, and I'm quite proud of it.
That's awesome. That's awesome to hear. Like, it's good that more companies are seeing that quality is not responsibility of one department, but the whole, not only technical people, but also people from the business, and everyone should be responsible for ensuring, right, that the developed product has a certain quality standard. I found it interesting as well that you mentioned that you have like QAs and you have developers. Could you elaborate a bit more on how does the collaboration between the teams happen? Like, do QAs that create Cypress tests sometimes send pull requests for a developer to review the tests that were written, or vice versa, or any other kind of collaboration?
Well, I have to tell a bit more to the topic because we are
Mhm.
working like the concept of quality at speed, which was a concept introduced by Atlassian, where the testers are seen as a coach for the developers and not as
Mhm.
the safety net. Of course, they're still testing stuff they think they're important,
Yeah.
but the most important thing is after the implementation, the developer calls a tester and does a little demo meeting with the tester, and there they elaborate if the dev tested enough, did he miss some test cases, or what could he do as a Cypress or component test or end-to-end test. So it's like a coaching by the tester.
Yeah, that's
Afterward,
awesome.
the developer will be responsible for his first test, of course, and in the pull request, he can assign the tester as a reviewer and vice versa, of course, as well. As the tester is writing a missing test case, a developer can be a reviewer. So, well, we are doing it all together.
That's very interesting. For how long does this happen at Shopware? Is it like something? I imagine that it's not like something easy to achieve, depending
Oh,
on the
yeah.
people that are working in the company. But I imagine that since you came, for example, from this QA background to work together, like as a developer, for you it might be very much easier than for someone that is like, I never, I never, I was not used to writing tests, and how does it work, right?
Yeah, that's totally right. When it comes to the manual side of testing, we did it since I started be a tester at Shopware, which was more or less 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But just on the manual side and not in every team. So I was starting at Shopware when we started to integrate this QA speed concept. Um, it was, like all people are not the same. It was, dependent on the developer and how open he is to such brave concepts,
Yeah.
because you are giving some responsibility to the developer. And some people struggle with that. But
Mm-hmm.
I think after the years, I guess 1 year or something, they got used to it and they got proud of the things they achieve and they build, and they know I am sure that my code is working, that I won't make mistakes or anything else. So it was a thing to gain some confidence on their own implementations, and that was wonderful to see. When it comes to new employees, they are adapting quite fast, and I think it's because they have to adapt that also. I
Has
don't
been made.
think, yeah,
Yeah. And I think the market is kind of expecting more of this from people as well. So people that are coming to this new way of developing software, they have to be prepared for, like, it's not acceptable anymore that you don't write tests for the things that you, for the code that you write, right?
right,
um,
yeah.
you kind of answered the next question that I had, which were your favorite features. Do you have any other favorite feature besides the test runner, time traveling is one of my favorites as well. Like you can
Yeah.
go back in time and see exactly the state of the app. So do you have any other features that you find like this is awesome that Cypress offers me that I couldn't have with a different tool, for instance?
Well, it's actually not a feature in the actual word meaning, but I love Cypress being open source. Not
Hmm.
only because I'm working at an open source company and so I'm breathing in open source, if I can say it like that.
Yeah.
But if you have a problem and you search for something which is missing in Cypress by default, you are able to find lots of plugins helping you, or
Yeah.
even write your own plugins. So we were able to share some commands and services helpers to our developers in the community
Hmm.
to help them test with Cypress. And that's a quite good idea to, even make other people outside of your cosmos, outside of your company, enthusiastic for Cypress. So
Yeah.
I think
I
that's one thing I really love.
I love that you mentioned the open source fact. It's something that people don't usually say, but it's a fact. Like, and I think when you get used with working for open source projects. I worked, for instance, in the past for GitLab, and I have some
Hey,
small open source tools that I wrote myself. And before, even when I was in Brazil, worked for as in a company that was super into Drupal, which is also open source, and it's a new world of software development, of collaboration, of like working remotely even before all these thing that happened, right? Because it was like different people in different parts of the world sometimes developing one simple thing. But what I think the most nice thing is like at the first time you have one problem to solve, you solve it, and then you realize that that could be generalized somehow and could be available publicly for others to consume. And then it's like this is my favorite part, like that it's accessible to everyone. I love that
oh
for sure.
yes. And the feeling that you know you can help other people by doing the things you do, maybe for your living or your free times. It's so this community of giving and taking, which is so, I don't know how to say it, but I love this teamwork aspect, this welcoming community.
Yeah, you give back. You don't expect that you will have it back, but you have it back because the community is there, right? It's just awesome. I love that. The
Yeah.
JavaScript community is quite active, and you don't need to reinvent the wheel anymore. You just go on npm or yarn or something, and you find exactly what you need there. Like it's awesome. I've been exploring the all the Cypress plugins that are available at the documentation. It's a huge list as well. Do you have any tips or advice to give to anyone that might be considering Cypress in their tech stack, Ramona?
Yeah, it sounds flat, but learning by doing is the best way to learn Cypress. Just try it out. It won't hurt you. The test run is free, so just try it out and see how far you can go with Cypress. But there's one thing I advise you to be a bit cautious. Test it in your environment, especially when it comes to your continuous integration and your pipelines, to ensure that it's compatible to whatever you use in your environment. Helps you with that because they are providing full Docker images and
Yeah,
so I have no doubt that it will work out in your environment, but please be sure to check it out and to be sure that it's actually matching to you.
yeah, that's a good point. Ramona, it's been an awesome conversation. I loved being able to spend this time with you here,
Same to
and
you.
I would like to open the space for you if you have any initiatives that you are doing. If you are speaking at a conference or something like that, it's time for you to tell our public about it.
Yeah, next month there's actually a conference I'm so proud to take part in. It's the Frontend Test Fest. It's co-hosted by Cypress themselves and Apple Tools, and there is one talk which is given by me. So I would love to see some familiar faces and to not feel like there's so many important and wonderful people and there's me so little. So oh my god, I don't know. So if you can support by being there, I'd be so happy. My topic will be common testing pitfalls and how to solve them. So you don't need to feel the same pain as I did when working with testing. There might be even more pitfalls cannot cover in my talk because I have only, I think, 30 minutes or something. But if we can talk to each other about all those little mistakes we do and learn from each other, we can give so much value to anyone, and that would be wonderful.
I'm so looking forward to that conference. I was looking into all the speakers that are going to be there, and it seems to be. I'm pretty sure it's going to be an awesome conference. I'll leave the link for registration in the description of the video here on YouTube.
It's free.
Yeah, even better, right? So Ramona, thank you very much for having this conversation. And thank you for watching as well. If you like this conversation, please don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel to receive notifications about what's going on the Talking About Testing channel. And see you next time. Bye bye.
Goodbye.